Fortnite has dominated the gaming scene for over a year now, and eventually another game will creep up and steal the #1 spot. Could that game actually be Apex Legends? Apex released as a polished, unique, and most of all, a super fun game, and it already hit 2 million concurrent players. Everywhere you look or read, you see people claiming that Fortnite is dying. All the Fortnite pros are leaving Fortnite. Twitch viewership for Fortnite has tanked. But is it temporary, or is it possible Fortnite is already dying or dead? But besides all the numbers and the arguments about whether Apex will take down Fortnite, which game is actually better and which one should you play? Make sure you guys click like and subscribe right now and go use my Fortnite code, thatdenverguy. YT. Let's get into it. First, a huge difference between Apex and Fortnite is the third-person shooting versus a first-person view. I grew up on Counter-Strike and Battlefield games, so first-person was the only way I knew how to play until I started playing Fortnite. PUBG a little bit too, but they eventually got a first-person mode in the game. Either way, Fortnite is stuck in third-person, and maybe you like that, but maybe you don't. Third-person means you get to hide behind cover while being able to see in a pretty wide field of view around you. First-person, you are limited to what's in your small field of view, basically through your character's eyes. So which one is better? That's up to you, but I think a lot of people will say first-person view. Next up is gameplay. Fortnite grew so fast for many reasons, but the one thing that really set it apart from every game out there is that you can build. In Apex, there is no building, and this actually might be one of the biggest things people love about it. Also might be one of the biggest things that people hate about Apex Legends coming from Fortnite. The amount of buttons or keys you had to press to be successful in Fortnite was enough to give even the youngest gamers carpal tunnel or possibly some early onset arthritis. I can't lie and say it wasn't a nice break to play Apex and just get to focus on shooting and a couple skills when I needed to use them. I got to pay attention to the game as a whole instead of just hitting 90s every fight. Plus, no longer can 10 people sit in a final circle and turtle up and rebuild their structure, refusing to fight and still able to pull off a win. In Apex, you have the natural cover and you have your abilities, and that's it. It is honestly a breath of fresh air after a year of stressing, trying to compete with builders who practice and play for 10 to 12 hours every day with no ranked mode yet to separate those who are clearly better than others. I do still love the building aspect because everybody who has materials has a chance to protect themselves in Fortnite, whereas in Apex, if you run across an open field to get into a circle and you start getting shot at, you can only pray that you have an ability to protect you, or just that their aim is bad or your aim is really, really good. Otherwise, you're stuck. There's nothing you can do about it. So it's up to you. Do you like building? If so, stick with Fortnite. For the rest of you guys that hate building and never could keep up with the sweaty TTV, by the ways, Apex is perfect for you. Next up is the teamwork aspect. Apex beats Fortnite here and might be one of the best teamwork games we've seen in a long time, with Overwatch being kind of the only current competitor. In fact, a lot of Apex feels similar to Overwatch. In Fortnite, you can solo, duo, you can squad, and Epic even put in a temporary 3-person mode, possibly in response to Apex's success. Fortnite squads are just a free-for-all for your team though. Everybody's fighting over weapons and shields while 1 or 2 teammates might land across the map from you and nobody has any special abilities to protect the team. You can only hope you either get some good randoms or that your friends don't hold you back too much. Other than that, the only way you can work with your team is to build fast enough to protect them too, or to give them heals and shields. Apex though, where to begin with the teamwork? This was the first thing I was honestly impressed about because the game encourages teamwork so much that they even launch you into the match with a jump master who chooses where to go and you fly down together. Of course, you don't have to follow the jump master and you don't need to stick side by side all the way to the ground, but the fact that the game almost forces you to work together comes from some developers that have probably been screwed over by one too many teammates in Fortnite squads, and they thought, you know what, we can definitely do something to help players out that want to work together. Even before dropping in though, you have to wait your turn to pick your legend, so it's not just a free-for-all for those who have better ping or quicker clicks, but the abilities. The ability to protect your teammates and mark enemies with pings and make strategic choices for the better of your team and not just yourself, that might be enough to make some of you never play Fortnite again. So speaking of abilities, Apex has legends, which are the characters that all have abilities, including an ultimate that can be recharged faster with items. They are all unique, and each legend feels like you are playing a new character in an MMO like WoW or a MOBA like League of Legends. It keeps the game fresh. It allows you to be offensive, defensive, or support for your team as opposed to Fortnite's just building and shooting. This might make the game a little more complicated and harder to learn and improve on, since you have several different characters, not only to learn yourself, but to learn how to play against. This could be a big barrier to new players and especially younger players. And again, that could be a great thing or a bad thing, depending on what your opinion is of it. All right, so cosmetics. Let's talk about these because both games are free and need to make money somehow. So which one is a better value and lets you spend less money, since a lot of us pretty much went broke with Fortnite? Apex has Apex packs, and that can be bought and opened up to get different items varying in rarity. You might get really lucky and get the rarest items in the game, or you might just get a bunch of common skins and stuff you will never look at again. As with any cosmetic items in most games, you get no combat help besides maybe a little camouflage in the right situations. A Reddit user named Bae339, B-A-E, I don't know, we'll just call it Bae339, actually spent $500 on Apex packs and wanted only one item in particular, and that was the rare heirloom for Wraith. Finally, on the 499th pack, he got what he wanted. Maybe he just got really unlucky, but if you have to spend around $500 just to get a rare item to look a little different in the game, it may not be worth it. But the good thing is, after the $500, he now has almost every cosmetic item in the game. But of course, if Apex takes a page from Fortnite's book, they will release new items constantly and rake in the money. Some Fortnite players might have laughed when I said $500, by the way. I know myself that I have spent way more than that for the skins and battle passes I got. Someday, though, when I quit Fortnite and look back at all the skins that will now be worthless, I might regret it, but for now, Fortnite cosmetics actually win out over Apex, and this is why I think that. Fortnite did something that no game has ever really done, and that is break into pop culture and turn some of the best things and possibly worst things about our current culture into things you can actually look like and do in the game. The hype dance got really big and was known initially as the shoot dance. Epic developers and Fortnite players liked the dance because it looked awesome, and then you could do it in the game with their friends or to disrespect someone or for whatever reason. You've seen many of the other dances and probably hate them by now, and trust me, I totally understand. I teach around 900 kids. They came in every day for months doing the orange justice, hype, and of course, the amazing floss that we all love to see. I mean, at least they were moving and getting healthy, yes, but how many kids can you see do the hype completely wrong before you want to claw your eyes out? But anyway, I get off topic. Point is, Fortnite absolutely killed it with cosmetics, and I doubt we will ever see a game be so consistently impressive at bringing pop culture into the game and making the game feel so current and alive and changing. Sure, Apex might have some skins that make you look a little cooler, or Counter-Strike, had skins that made your guns look better. World of Warcraft had pets and mounts, but Fortnite wins when it comes to cosmetics, especially from Epic's point of view as they rake in piles of cash from kids using mom's credit card. Next up, as a Battle Royale game, which system is better? Fortnite and Apex are actually pretty similar when it comes to their circle system, and they do follow like the typical rules of a last man standing, zone shrinking BR game. I guess the biggest difference is that in a single match, Fortnite can have you and up to 99 other players, whereas Apex only has 60 people tops in a match currently. To me, that doesn't really mean anything, and both games feel like they're pretty action-packed. Apex doesn't currently have any vehicles to travel in, and honestly, you don't really miss that from Fortnite because you can move quick enough usually anyway. One thing that Fortnite can't seem to figure out is movement items and abilities, because they are constantly getting implemented into the game and then vaulted out of the game, and they cannot find a balance. Apex, on the other hand, may not ever have to deal with that problem. The circle also currently seems to do a lot less than the Fortnite circle in Apex, and that is actually kind of nice, especially with the increased healing items like a handy syringe you can find almost anywhere that can top you off pretty easily, versus Fortnite that when you get below 75 health, it's so much harder to be topped back off. I also love how in Apex you can actually move a little bit when you're healing and shielding. Even if it's not much, who wants to sit still for like 15 seconds in a BR game just waiting and doing nothing with a chug jug? At least when you can move, you feel like you're still doing something. So no joke though, just making this video made me realize how much I have been enjoying Apex. I didn't think I would, honestly. It's a breath of fresh air in a sea of failed Battle Royale games and one giant named Goliath that is waiting for David to come over with a slingshot, Fortnite being the Goliath. Apex could be that slingshot, sure, but it is hard to say at this point. Usually in my videos, I like to give all the facts to you guys, let you make a choice, and then at the very end, I like to tell you what I think. So, do I think Apex will beat Fortnite? No, I don't think it has a chance. Apex will continue to threaten some big games though, like Overwatch, Battlefield, and especially Call of Duty that was supposed to be the Fortnite killer that shot up fast and died even quicker. I tell anybody who asks why I think Fortnite will last for years and still be successful. One, it has building, and whether we like it or not, a lot of people love it. It's what makes it unique, but more importantly, number two, moms are okay with their kids playing Fortnite. Apex looks fast-paced, it looks like action-packed and intense, and you know moms, when they look at video games, if it doesn't look like calm and gentle, then it's an evil game and it's bad for you, and we gotta limit your time playing with it, and I don't want to give you money to buy things in the game. Fortnite though, it looks like a brightly colored cartoon, and you shoot lasers and there's no gore, and it's just overall, it just looks happier and like gentler and more innocent. Apex might take some of Fortnite's older crowd, but the kids are staying on Fortnite, and I do not think that will change for years. We might not see the same run that Minecraft or World of Warcraft had, but maybe a game like League of Legends that has lasted for 10 years, and even though they lost some numbers, they are still very successful and have a great competitive league. And actually, I think this last year was one of their best years ever, especially for viewership. So League of Legends is on the way up, and it's 10 years in the making. I could see Fortnite doing something similar to that. Either way, the short answer is that both games are good. It's not something I can answer. I'll like one better, but then someone else. The same way we like different music or movies, Apex and Fortnite, they will be very different games and attract different players because of it. The Apex developers and publisher EA, they saw a void in the market and absolutely killed it with Apex. But from a competitive side, Epic is destroying any other game out there. And I don't mean the layouts. Obviously, there's been some talk with competitive players versus casual players. But Epic is announcing a $100 million tournament. And there will be a bunch of people who are guaranteed to win at least $50,000 and like travel to compete in a world championship. No other game can possibly compete with that. And that alone will keep Fortnite alive for a long time. That will keep the pros coming back from leaving the game. Plus, they're doing other bonuses. Fortnite is alive right now. Apex gave them a nice kick in the bottom. Sorry, I got to say bottom. I'm a teacher. Nice kick in the bottom, and is going to help keep Fortnite alive. I love the competition. I love what Apex has done to the gaming genre of Battle Royales. I think both games will be successful. So anyways, guys, like and type in thatdenverguy YT as your code when you buy anything from the shop. So thank you guys if you are already doing that. And if not, help a teacher out, please. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching today. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think, of course, if you haven't already done that. And love Denver.